Thanks for watching HBC 25. This is the Cardinals Nest. Dean Beckman along with Donny Nadeau back for another show this week. And Donny, we have lots to talk about with women's volleyball. This is an exciting time of year for them as they are in the thick of a very tough MIAC conference race. Women's soccer is doing phenomenal. We'll get to that in a little bit as well. Later on in the program, in the interview segment, we're going to hear from a couple of young entrepreneurs at St. Mary's who are helping to run the Cardinal Corner, which is a new business at St. Mary's. It's a nonprofit business, but it's run by a class, and we'll have Pat Freeman and Tim Kunkel in to tell us about that.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to get them on. We can talk about how that business is going, and I'm hoping maybe toward the end of it we can maybe even talk a little basketball, being that both of them are also basketball players. Winter sports start up on Friday, so it's going to be a busy time for everybody, you know, with their business and whatnot. It's gonna keep them very busy, but hopefully we can get a little basketball in there as well.
That's right, and they brought some items to display, items that they sell in the Cardinal Corner, so we'll have that on display a little bit later on here in the program. But first, Donny, we'll spend this first segment talking about the previous week in St. Mary's athletics, and what a week it's been for women's soccer. They had a disappointing loss most recently on Tuesday night, 2-1. But before that, they went out and beat McAllister, which they hadn't done in quite some time, a 1-0 victory over the weekend.
Yeah, when you can break a 14-game winless streak against a team like McAllister, a very good, high-powered women's soccer program, it was a huge win for St. Mary's, and I know Coach Zimmerman was extremely proud of that. And like we talked in our last show, they had the 0-0 tie against Concordia, so it's been a very, very good time for the women's soccer team. Obviously, a little disappointing on Tuesday when they lost their game to St. Olaf 2-1, and especially frustrating in that one is that the goal that won the game proved to be what they call an own goal, where a cross from a St. Olaf player actually went off of one of our players and into the net. So a little bit disappointing in that regard, but you're right, they're really playing extremely good soccer right now, and actually the Central Region rankings, or the North Region rankings came out, and St. Mary's was ranked number 10, so that's a very good feather in their cap, and obviously that program is moving in the right direction, and hopefully they can continue it, pick up off of that loss, and come back on Saturday against Hamlin and play very well.
Right, and you know, that 1-0 victory over McAllister that we saw on the screen a little bit ago, Ashley Gurnis had the lone goal in that one. I talked to Ashley on Monday, and I said, congratulations, Ashley, great goal. And she says, thanks. She says, I'm glad we got it because it was so hot playing that day. Apparently, the temperature really got up there at McAllister.
It was one of those games that, you know, the temperature was 80 degrees, and when you're on the artificial turf, it's you know, you're adding 10 more degrees.
And in the fall, you're not used to playing in that.
Exactly.
Not in October.
And you know, the nice thing about that, and you know, Ashley's one of those people that's pretty laid back and not really one to, you know, to toot her own horn, but that's a big goal for her. That was her first collegiate goal, and couldn't have come at a better time for that program, and for them to get, you know, that win is it's a great boost for you know, for the Cardinals, for that program, and really, you know, they're right now they're at 6-6-1 in the conference. They're still in the hunt for a conference playoff berth, and we haven't been able to talk about that in a number of years. So I know that Coach Zimmerman's very happy about the fact that, you know, they're playing important games in late October. So you know, hopefully they can continue that and keep things rolling.
Well, and I think what's most impressive, you bring up that 6-6-1 record, 3-3-1 in conference play. The losses that they have, those 6 losses, those three losses in conference, they've all been close. Most of them could have gone either way, and so that's what Coach Zimmerman has to be thrilled with.
Absolutely. When you're looking at games and they're decided by 1 goal, and you know, obviously in soccer, that's a big deal. And right now, they're, you know, you look at the game against McAllister, and you're getting a goal from Ashley Gurnis. You're getting goals from people that haven't scored before. That's very important to the success of a program. We keep talking about Amy Sibic and about Sloan Karamoto and about Amanda Rahman. Well, you know, we need them to do well, but obviously when you can get some offensive output from some other people and continue to get great goaltending from Cassie Hewlett like they've been getting, it's a very good combination. And you know, as you see the standings right there, St. Mary's they're right in the hunt for that number 4 spot. You know, a win on Saturday against Hamlin's 3 more points, that gets them to 13, and they're right in there. And so hopefully when we get together next week and do our show, we're going to be talking about another win. And hopefully, I'm not going to put Amy Sibic on the spot, but hopefully she gets that 1 point she needs to get to 100 for her career. It's something that, you know, it's a great feather for Amy Sibic. She's had a phenomenal 4 years here at St. Mary's, and it'd be great to see her get that 100th point. And right now she's sitting on 99, and hopefully she can get it on Saturday, and hopefully it's a goal, and hopefully maybe it's a game winner for her.
Yeah. Also last weekend, the St. Mary's men's soccer team took on McAllister, and Donny, they shut everybody out except for one person, but it was that one person, Taylor Rasmussen, who had a hat trick in the game as he scored 3 goals en route to a 3-0 Scots victory. In that
and I was talking to Coach Dembeck about that game, and actually that's 2 games in a row now that one person has beaten the Cardinals. When they played Upper Iowa, they had a forward who scored 3 goals as well in a 4-1 victory. So I talked to Coach Dembeck after the McAllister game, and the first thing he said was, that kid is really good. And he said we played very well. It was one of those things that he'd take on 2-3 St. Mary's defenders, and he would, he'd beat them and break in alone on Chris Williams. And there's not a lot a soccer goalkeeper can do on a breakaway like that. And when Coach Dembeck praises an opponent like that, that's some pretty high praise. And they're right there. The Cardinals are really right there. They still need to continue to do a better job of defending. But again, as we talked last week and we've talked just about all year, they've got to get some more offensive scoring. Chris talked about the McAllister game. He said in the second half there were 2 or 3 chances that they had that legitimately should have been goals. Chris said that their keepers made 2 phenomenal saves on shots, and they knocked one off the crossbar. If those things go in, all of a sudden it's a 3-3 game. And unfortunately, when you're struggling, when you're trying to get everything together, it never seems like those breaks go your way.
Right, and as we look at the conference standings, we can see the breaks haven't gone the Cardinals' way this year, as still winless in the conference at 0-5, 2-11 on the season. But hopefully things are going to turn soon for that men's squad. It's a very young team this year, and we had Coach Dembeck on earlier, and so a lot of seniors will be there next year. He does have a lot of juniors this year,
yeah.
and so a
and
lot
one of the
to
things
build with.
too with that team right now is they're battling a lot of injuries. They've had people in and out of the lineup all season long. They lost Brian New in the McAllister game. He cracked some ribs and injured his lung in a collision with their goalkeeper, and that's their their junior captain. And when he's not on the field, obviously that certainly is a loss for them. So hopefully, Brian, I hope you're feeling better and getting better. But when you can't have your best players on the field, it certainly is going to hurt your performance.
Yep. In volleyball action, we have spent a lot of time here on the Cardinals Nest discussing volleyball. And last weekend, they had a couple of big conference matches. On Wednesday, as we tape this, they are getting set to host the #1 team in the conference, or at least a team tied for #1 in St. Olaf. So, Donny, certainly no rest for Mike Lester, as the volleyball team has had some very stiff competition as of late. Last weekend in those 2 conference games went 1 for 2 there.
Yeah, it's one of those, this is the stretch in their season, and it really happens just about every year. You go St. Benedict, Concordia, St. Olaf, and it's usually 3 nationally ranked teams. St. Benedict has been receiving votes in the AVCA poll. St. Mary's beat them 3-1. The next day they traveled from St. Joseph, Minnesota to Concordia, to Moorhead, and lost 3-0. Concordia nationally ranked in the top 15, and now, as you said, they play host to St. Olaf as we're taping on Wednesday night, and St. Olaf is ranked 15th right now in the nation. So it's a very tough stretch, and unfortunately, it gets no easier for them this weekend as they travel to North Central for a 4-team tournament where they're going to play Hope College and Calvin College, both of which are also ranked in the top 15. So it doesn't get any easier for them, and hopefully they can just continue to play well. And anytime I ask Coach Lester what they need to do, he has pretty much the same answer. We've got to continue to do what we do. We have to stay in our system, we have to pass the ball well, and we have to serve the ball well. And when they do that, it doesn't matter who they play, they're very successful. When they don't do that, for example, against Northwestern last Wednesday in a 3-0 loss, bad things happen. So, they need to keep doing what they do and do it well, and hopefully the wins will keep coming.
Right. You would have talked to Coach Lester after that Northwestern matchup. Was that a bit surprising? Was that maybe a little wake-up call for the Cardinals?
I think more than a bit surprising, it was very disappointing. It was one of those, they had a triangular on Wednesday night. They played Crown College first and breezed through that 3-0, and then they played Northwestern, and actually Northwestern turned the tables on them, beating them 3-0. And I think maybe it was a wake-up call. Maybe it was just a, we've got to be ready every single match. And, for volleyball, it's very difficult in that they play you know, that Wednesday night they're playing 2 matches in, you know, back-to-back succession. On these weekends, like the North Central tournament this weekend, they'll play 2 matches on Friday back-to-back. Then they come back and play 2 matches Saturday back-to-back. So not only physically, but emotionally, mentally, it's very difficult. You know, you've got to be at the top of your game all the time, and you can't afford to let down. Coach Lester puts together a very, very difficult schedule, and so they've got to play at a very high level all the time. And this weekend's going to be a perfect example of that, because there's, you know, some very, very talented teams in this North Central Invitational.
And so far this year, the Cardinals have done very well at tournaments, and that seems to bring out the best in Sarah Gardner.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that Sarah's going to be ready to go. I think that you know, everybody has to be at the top of the game, and you know, we'll talk about Sarah Gardner every time we're on the show because she's such a talented individual. But everybody has to be ready. Sarah Harstead has got to be able to step in and continue to do the things that she's doing. And Kathy Runny came in and did some nice things, and Brittany Chewinka as the setter has got to continue to play well. So if they're going to make a run, right now is the time that they really got to get their game to where it needs to be at that very high level. And you know, hopefully when they get to conference tournament time, top 6 teams go. And as you see there, we're number 5 right now, or number 4 right now. And you know, a lot can change. There's a lot of conference matches left, and a lot of work to be done. But you know, we're right where we want to be. And I know Coach Lester, that's exactly what he'd say, is we're in the mix.
Right.
As long as you have a chance, that's all you need.
And you can see basically a 3-way tie for first. The overall record gives it to St. Thomas a little bit there, but what a conference race this is shaping out to be.
Absolutely.
For volleyball.
When you look at that, I mean, the top 3 are all 5-1, and then your next 2 are 4-2. That's some pretty good volleyball, and so really what ends up happening in this situation is those top teams continue to beat up on each other. So what's really fun is when you get to the conference tournament then, and it's for all the marbles, and it's winner take all, and I think that you know, then you really see some fantastic volleyball.
The best team shine then for sure. Finally in this segment, let's talk some cross country. Both the men's and women's teams were in Waverly, Iowa last week for the Dan Houston Invitational. That's also the site of the NCAA Division III regional cross-country run. And I know Coach Berndt was wanting to use the Dan Houston Invitational as kind of a prep for the runners to get to know the course for the NCAA regional. But it kind of turned out more than that for Coach Berndt, didn't it?
Yeah, I think one of the things is you can break it down into 2. For the men, it was a very, very memorable experience, and really a great confidence builder as they get ready for the NCAA regionals in a month. And that's because they ran so very well. I know Coach Berndt was hoping for, you know, somewhere in maybe the 19th place out of 25, and they finished 14th. And for that team, that's an exceptional performance. He got some great performances. Obviously, the ones who we're used to talking about, David Feather was fantastic again, running a 27:19 8K. Peter Boresh did a very nice job, but what he liked more than anything was his 5 and 6 runners and his 4 runner pushed up and actually pushed the top 3 runners and helped them obviously to that 14th place finish. And the one person that Coach Berndt always talks about this week as I've been talking to him is Benton Codet. He was very happy with the way he came on and did a very nice job. And so for the men, it was an outstanding confidence builder in knowing that they can be very successful on that course. For the women, it was a learning experience, and part of it was they just never kind of got into their rhythm, and they've struggled from the get-go. And as Coach Berndt put it, you know, this is a learning experience for them. Hopefully, they learn something, you know, to be able to stay with their game plan rather than letting the field, the size of the field, and what other people are doing dictate how they perform. They've got to be able to stick to what their game plan is. And unfortunately, at the Dan Houston, they weren't able to do that.
Right.
So hopefully it was a learning experience for them. And when they get back on that course, they'll know what to expect and hopefully be able to do a much better job.
Joanna Pace did her thing, though, with a 19th place finish for the women.
Absolutely.
So
Joanna's done a very nice job all year, and it's good to see her lead that team for a week.
All right, coming up next, we're going to talk about the brand new store on the St. Mary's campus. It's called the Cardinal Corner. We'll tell you what's in it, and we'll bring in Tim Kunkel, Pat Freeman next here on the Cardinals Nest on HBC.
Hey, I'm Buddha, inviting you to join me for a brand new show here on HBC TV 25 called Real Attractions. We'll show you trailers from the latest movies to hit theaters and also what's being released on DVD that week. Plus, you have a chance to win free movies by registering at my.hbci.com/realattractions. But you gotta watch to win. So check out Real Attractions here on HBC TV 25, hosted by yours truly, which is why we didn't call it Real Attractive.
This is our Saturday.
Our pride.
Our history.
This is our axe.
No, this is our axe.
This is our true color.
This is our halftime.
This is our tradition.
Our nation.
This is our time.
Our big house.
This is Minnesota football.
Nothing gets you ready for game day like Vikings Game Plan. Every Sunday, join host Paul Allen along with head coach Brad Childress as they break down the X's and O's. Plus, log on to FoxSportsNorth.com and click on the Vikings tab for even more Vikings content. We are your headquarters for the Vikings, Sundays at 10:30 and online all the time. We are Fox Sports North.
And we're back here on the Cardinals Nest. Dean Beckman, Donny Nadeau, the Sports Information Director for St. Mary's, joined by Pat Freeman and Tim Kunkel. And they're used to being in the Cardinal Corner, so we invited them into the Cardinals Nest this time. Guys, thanks for being here. And as you can see, we have a lot of merchandise on display that you can find in the Cardinal Corner on the campus of St. Mary's University in the basement of the Toner Center right next to the Barnes & Noble bookstore on the campus. Guys, you had to, change your clothes and actually put some other clothing on because you're always wearing something like this trying to sell that merchandise, correct?
Definitely.
Now, this is part of an entrepreneurship class at St. Mary's taught by Jana Kraft, and Jana is actually part of our live studio audience today. But before we get to the store, and you can tell us more how the store originated and all of that, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Pat, where are you from, and what's your major, and how did you end up at St. Mary's University?
I'm actually from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. I went to Champlain Park High School. I transferred a couple times, so this is my third school.
You finally found the right one.
Right, I got a home now. But I'm majoring in sports management and entrepreneurship, and just ended up taking the class. And I wasn't even aware that we were going to end up doing the Cardinal Corner, but it's turned out to be a lot of fun so far.
Okay, good. Tim, how about you?
I'm Tim Kunkel, and I'm from Northfield, Illinois, which is a small town, but it's right next to Northwestern University in the Big Ten, so north suburbs of Chicago. And I'm a marketing major at St. Mary's, and St. Mary's came about because there's a lot of Chicago alumni. A lot of my family friends went there, so it was a nice spot, and I visited, and I loved it.
Okay, good. So now the Cardinal Corner is a store that is sort of the brainchild of this entrepreneurship class. Tell us how it all came about. I know that that particular class has had different businesses, so to speak, in operation on the St. Mary's campus. How did this class come up with the Cardinal Corner?
Well, this class started, and Professor Kraft came to us and said, okay, guys, you're starting a store. So we were kind of taken back because it was the first day of class. It wasn't getting to know the teacher or anything,
You're right.
anything
Introduce
like that.
yourselves.
They said,
sort of
all right,
thing.
okay, you have a store. We're going to give you a little bit of a budget and come up with some ideas. So we kind of brainstormed that first week of classes, and a couple of ideas came about, and we decided, all right, let's go ahead and start ordering and start selling to the students.
All right, and so maybe tell us about some of the items that you have on for sale down there in the Cardinal Corner.
Well, we were split into groups, and we each were designed to come up with a product. And our group actually decided to talk to the athletic coaches and see what kind of old uniforms and stuff we could come up with. And the coaches were great about it. They had a lot of stuff in storage, and they came up probably maybe 50 total jerseys somewhere.
Yeah, lots.
Between a lot of our sports teams and stuff. So those have been a huge hit so far, selling to the students. And our main goal for our group was just try to get some more student bodies, the jerseys at the games and stuff. Just more support for all our athletics teams and fans in general, and it's been great so far.
How has it been in terms of people coming to the store? I mean, obviously we were talking off camera. It's a little hard to find, because people don't really know where it is. Have you been busy? Has it been a good crowd of people coming in?
We had a grand opening on the first Friday, which was probably like 3 or 4 weeks into school, and we put up posters and flyers, and we got a pretty good buzz started around campus. And that first week, we actually brought in a lot of revenue, which is nice to see, and it was kind of a little bit of a positive reinforcement for the students that we put so much hard work into getting the store open. So to have the students respond that way, it was really nice to see. And things have not slowed down, but kept an even pace, which is is nice to see.
And how do you staff the store? Is there a set schedule that you guys have to make, or how does that work?
Yep. We each take about an hour to hour and a half shift each week throughout our class, and we all, depending on when we're open, we each take that once a week, and it's pretty easy.
Okay. Now, it's not just vintage uniforms that you have for sale. What's this red card about? Tell us about the red card.
We have other items, too, and I'll let Pat hold on to this. But our red card, which was started last year by Professor Kraft, so this thing allows you buy it for $5, and it allows you to get discounts, let's say to Westgate Bowl or Mugby Junction. So it kind of pays for itself, which it's really unique. It's just, anything around Winona, you're going to be able to buy something for a discount. And so, it was just a neat little idea. It fits in your wallet, easy to carry.
And Pat, you have a wristband.
Yeah, one of the
Cardinal
groups
Pride?
Developed this Cardinal Pride wristband, just basically just for the students to wear around, show support for athletics, and we've already sold over 100 of them, I know, the first couple of weeks open, so they're doing pretty good as well.
Wow, that's all. All this vintage stuff with the uniforms, no lava lamps though, right? Do you constantly brainstorm as a class, or really I should say as a business, I suppose? Do you brainstorm about new items that you can have for sale as the semester goes along?
Well, as soon as our semester ends, there's going to be another class coming in. So we kind of are focusing on these products right now. But Professor Kraft has gotten contacted by so many student organizations. I think a science club or psychology club is selling pumpkins through our store right now. So they contact us, and we can sell it for them, and they'll get the cut of the money back. So not necessarily new ideas, but people are always approaching us about new things that they can sell through the store.
Yeah, and another new thing coming very soon, soccer, people who watch the World Cup in soccer will be familiar with this new item. Tell us about that.
They're the vuvuzelas, and they're about this long. You've probably heard them at the World Cup. They're very loud, and we got them approved through our athletic director, and it's a go. So we can't use them during the events, but timeouts and before and after the games we can use them. So
So I have to ask both of you then, come middle of November when you open against Luther College at home, are you going to be listening for the...
Oh, for sure.
Definitely. Hopefully we see a lot of fans with them.
I would imagine there may have to be some PA announcements about not using the vuvuzelas
that could be
during
a possibility.
the contest.
Sure.
How about the proceeds? How about the revenue that's generated? Where does that go? What is it used for?
Well, we decided as a class, we were so focused on getting the store started, but after that, we had to come up with a charity because we're not making any profit. And we wanted to keep it local. And one of the biggest things that St. Mary's students, if you go to St. Mary's, you know about Taylor Richmond. And it's the benefit dance every year that happens in the spring, and it's a huge hit because everyone gets dressed up real nice, and it's just a really formal dance that's just a really nice hit because it benefits a faculty member that works for St. Mary's, and it's her son. So we decided to keep it within the St. Mary's community. And so all this money goes to Taylor Richmond and that charity.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a terrific concept. Now, if somebody is watching in the public here in the Winona area and sees something they like or would like to, donate to that particular cause, how can they get a hold of the Cardinal Corner?
Well, Professor Kraft, Johnny Kraft is the person to call, and she's in the business department. So if you contact St. Mary's and find her through the business department, you'll find the Corner Code.
Right, and I came across a web email address as well, Cardinal Corner at smumn.edu. There you see it on the screen right there, Cardinal Corner at smumn.edu, located right next to the bookstore. If you go into the Toner Student Center, it's right downstairs, and you can't miss it if you see the bookstore. It's just off to the right there. So, so it's really an exciting concept, certainly a great learning experience. What have either one of you learned so far by working at the Cardinal Corner?
Well, you have to get a lot of stuff cleared before you actually sell it. So we've had We've been working with other people in other departments to get stuff through. It takes a little longer than you'd think, but we've been working with them, and it's been going pretty well.
Right, right. So, yeah, a lot to operating a business behind the scenes that nobody else ever sees, and so certainly you're learning part of that. Real quick, guys, how about a quick basketball preview? You're both basketball players. What are we going to see this year?
Well, this year, I mean, people are excited. I mean, it's nice to hear, oh, what's going on? Are you guys going to be good this year? And, we just show up to games because we're going to be exciting. I know that.
Yep. All right. Well, good luck with that. Most of all, good luck with the Cardinal Corner. It's exciting and great to have on campus.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, stay tuned. Donnie and I will be back to wrap up the Cardinals Nest after this.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was a mobile phone company where you could actually get great customer service? Well, the wait is over. Full mobile phone service is now available at HBC. With plans starting as low as $40 a month on the nation's largest coverage map, HBC Mobile has a plan for everyone. Individual, family, data, they're all available. And they all come with the personal customer service you've come to expect from HBC. Stop in today at 58 Johnson Street, Winona, to see how you can get a free phone. HBC Mobile. Service you can trust.
Nothing gets you ready for game day like Vikings Game Plan. Every Sunday, join host Paul Allen along with head coach Brad Childress as they break down the X's and O's. Plus, log on to FoxSportsNorth.com and click on the Vikings tab for even more Vikings content. We are your headquarters for the Vikings, Sundays at 10:30 and online all the time. We are Fox Sports North.
And welcome back here to the Cardinals Nest. Dean Beckman, Donny, Nadeau here to wrap things up. And Donny, it's that time of year again where the fast pitch softball team holds its annual Walk of Horror. This is the 14th year they've been putting this on, where they'll dress up in Donny Nadeau masks and hide in the woods in the bluffs in St. Mary's and scare people. But it is October 22nd. And the 23rd and also the 29th through the 31st. And actually they have far scarier masks than that, where they will go back there. It's $5 for adults, $4 for students, and $4 for children 12 and under. And they will vary the scares based on the crowd that goes through.
That's right. They have masks that are for the younger kids, and then they put my mask on for the older
ones.
It's a great fundraiser for the softball program, and like you said, it's been going on this is the 14th year, and that's outstanding. And a lot of the success of it is due to the community of Winona and the fact that they come out, and I think they all enjoy themselves as well.
Last year, 1,100 people took part, so that tells you how popular it is. And then, of course, we have the elementary and preschool children who are invited to attend the St. Mary's Halloween Fun Night, 5 to 7:30 p.m. October 25th. There are games, activities, and trick-or-treating on campus. It's free, so you're welcome to bring your kids out to that. And that's going to do it for this week's Cardinals Nest. Thanks for watching here on HBC Channel 25.